Hey guys, how's it going? Don't mind the extra noise. I have my heater going right now because I have a glue up going on over there, and it is currently minus 15 outside Celsius. I'll probably regret this later when I'm editing. Now that the basement is done to the point of being inhabitable again, I'm booting our basement dwelling brother-in-law back over to his original, now non-moldy room.
That's not fair. What is it? Oh, something.
At least in my time frame, it's inhabitable again. I still have a few more videos to release for the Mold 2017 series, and if you haven't had a chance to check those out yet, I'll link up to the playlist right here. Beforehand, this room was pretty much unusable with everything being stored on the floor, so we've decided to build some temporary storage shelving, and with the cold winter months coming up, I'm going to be turning this spare room into my stain and finishing room, but more on that later. To start this project off, I head into the shop, and at the miter saw, I cut some 2x4s to length to act as the legs. With the legs cut to size, I adjust my workbench so I can place the 2x8 foot sheet of plywood on it to start making the shelves. I have a couple other projects taking up some space right now. To save some time, and because my table saw is, again, currently covered in projects, I had the plywood ripped in half at the store. To build the shelves, I am screwing a full-length 2x4 onto both long sides of the plywood, and then screwing in the 3 short pieces on both short ends and the center to strengthen the box. And then with the first shelf mostly built, I put it off to the side to get the next 2 finished. When the last one was also mostly finished, I flip it plywood side up and finish screwing the plywood down to the frame. And then I do the same to the other 2 as well. And with that, these can go down into the basement. Once in the basement, I start installing the legs on what will be the top shelf with screws. And then 2 feet down from the top shelf, I install the second, and then another 2 feet down, I install the last shelf. Then I install the last 2 legs, and lift the shelf and put it into place. Then to make sure it won't fall down on anything or anyone when it's fully loaded up, I screw it into the wall and into the studs. The last step is to load it up. Or so I thought, because the next day we figured out a way we could make this even more useful. So back out in the shop, I cut down another 2x4 to length to start making another smaller shelf to close in the space between the shelf and the third wall. Once I have my 21-inch sections cut, I tape them together, mark out exact center, take them over to the drill press, and drill all of the way through with my 35mm Forstner bit, and assemble the pieces at the workbench. With the box done, I grab the dowel I picked up earlier, slide it into the frame, mark it, and cut it to length. Since the dowel is right now unsecured on both sides, I pre-drill and screw it in place to keep it from coming loose. To close up the top, I use my circular saw and cut the last 2x8 sheet of plywood to a length I knew was longer than the frame, installed it to the frame with screws, and cut it to final length with my pull saw. It probably would have been faster just to cut and measure it to final length with the circular saw right from the full sheet of plywood, but whatever. Now with this section done, I bring it into the basement, and with my wife giving me a hand, I screw it into the shelving unit and then the wall to hold it in place. And with that, we can bring some of the rarely used coats, clothes, or other hanging things and hang them down here out of the way. And with that, this project is done. And now that this entire wall is storage, this room is far more useful than it has been for the last 4 years that we've lived here. And so far it's been working fairly well as my staining and finishing room, but more on that in a future video. So on that note, thank you guys for watching, and if you like what I'm doing here, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more. If you have any questions or comments, I look forward to reading them in the comment section below. If you want to see more current projects, you can follow me on Instagram at Schreiner. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next video, and have a good one.